Hello there, and welcome to Time Warp Antiques. How can I assist you today? You have a few antiques that you'd like to have appraised? Yeah, sure, that's no problem. I'd be very happy to help you with that. We have a lot of people bringing in antiques from all over the galaxy, so I'm very skilled and knowledgeable on the values of certain items, so why don't you go ahead and show me what you have, and I can kind of tell you what they're worth, okay? Okay, great. So what's the first piece that you would like to have appraised? This helmet? Alright, let's see what you got here. Well, let's see. What can you tell me about this helmet? One of your ancestors was flying through space and this thing hit one of their side ports? Okay, that's a very interesting story. You don't really come by antiques in the middle of outer space very often. He was flying toward a place where there used to be a planet. Okay, that's a little more common. It's possible that when the planet was destroyed, this little helmet was thrown from it. Do you happen to know the make of the helmet? You think it might have belonged to a Norse god? Well, actually, yes, you are correct. This one, I would say, belonged to the goddess Hela. It looks to be in pretty good shape, especially for something that may have been thrown from an exploding planet. But floating around out there in space all that time, there probably wasn't too much oxygen to corrode it, so it's still in excellent shape, and it looks like you've taken excellent care of it as well. Is it okay if I remove it from the stand? It is. Okay, great. Let's just pop this off of here and have a look, okay? Let's see. Now, if you look inside, oh, yep, there we go. It's totally blank inside. There aren't any identifying marks of a maker or anything like that. So, yeah, this is almost definitely something that belonged to the goddess Hela. Just stick that back on its little stand here now. And being in such great shape, it's definitely worth quite a bit. If you were to try and sell this, you could probably get anywhere from $900,000 to $1 million for it. Yes, being a one-of-a-kind item, it belongs specifically to one particular goddess. There weren't, many of these made. It wasn't like there was a run of these made. It is a unique individual item, which enhances its value. And the fact that it is in such good shape really brings up that value price. So god and goddess accessories, if you will, are highly sought after by collectors. So yeah, if you were to try and sell this on the open market, you could definitely get anywhere from about $900,000 to $1 million, I would say. So that's probably one that you're going to want to keep under lock and key at your house until you actually decide to sell it, because that's a very valuable piece. So just carefully hand that back to you. There you go. And what else would you like to have appraised? This little crown? Okay, well, let's see. Okay, what can you tell me about this? How much do you know about this? You think that this belonged to one of the Norse gods as well? Probably Loki. Okay, well, you're right and wrong at the same time. This is definitely a Norse god piece, and it is a piece that would have belonged to Loki. However, it's not the traditional Loki. This is actually something that belonged to a variant Loki. What is a variant Loki? Well, a variant Loki would be a Loki from like a different dimension, or a Loki that's not necessarily supposed to exist. So, judging by the size and the age and the style of this particular crown, I would wager that this probably belonged to a variant of Loki named Sylvie. Yes, Sylvie was a female variant of Loki. There were quite a few variants of Loki depending on what dimension you went into. You could even find an alligator Loki if you went to the right dimension or area. So this one, I believe, belonged to the Sylvie version of Loki. So it does have a little bit of value in its own right. However, it's not going to be as valuable as if you had an actual Loki crown from the main Loki, so the non-variant Loki. Is this in good shape? It's a little dinged up. One of the horns is broken off here as well, so that is going to take down the value. Can I ask where you found this particular crown? You bought this at an estate sale? Okay, and about how much did you pay for this? Okay, well, yeah, it's going to be worth a little more than that. Not a lot, but just a little bit. So if you tried to sell it, if you found the right collector, you could make a little bit of a profit on it. Otherwise, you're probably looking at about breaking even if you tried to sell this particular piece, just because it is less sought after than the main Loki accessories. But yeah, if you tried to sell it, you'd probably have to work for the sale a little bit, and like I say, find the right buyer, the right collector, somebody who's interested in collecting all the variant accessories for a particular god or goddess. Then in that case, you could probably make a small profit on it, but you're not going to get rich off of this piece, unfortunately. It's not nearly as valuable as the Goddess of Death helmet that you showed me a moment ago, but still a very nice piece made of solid gold and, kind of a nice little attractive design, so it is a fun piece just to display, even if you never want to sell it, so... but yeah, you could make a small profit, but definitely not going to get rich with this piece. So, but thank you for bringing that in. That's very interesting. It's always fun to see a variant piece. So, what else do you have to have appraised today? This little laser blaster. All right. Well, let's see here now. Okay, now this is actually an extremely rare piece. This is of extraterrestrial origin. Yes, this is an alien blaster. What can you tell me about this one? You took it off a dead alien that you found in the desert? Okay, well, this is generally a captain's gun. So I'm guessing that the alien you found it on was probably a captain, and this would have been the captain's blaster. As I say, these are extremely rare because usually only the captain had one. There is a little bit of wear on it. It's got a little bit of rust and some wear and tear. Do you mind if I test it and see if it still works? Okay, let's see. Okay, it does seem to still be in working order, so that's definitely a great selling point, and it raises the value of this particular piece. Now, one of the reasons why this particular style of blaster is so sought after is because they are extremely rare, and they tend to be more powerful than most other extraterrestrial blasters. Despite the small size, they tend to have a lot more power, and they were also known for using far less ammunition. Yeah, you could usually get, about 2,500 shots from one of these before it needed to have a new power cell reloaded. Did you happen to find any power cells near where you found this? You did. Okay, yeah, so you're going to get a lot of shots out of this weapon. Obviously, the more you use it, the less its value will be, just because the more you use something, the less its value is. However, the fact that it has already been used, as is obvious, by the alien captain, does really increase its value. So you're definitely going to get a pretty penny if you try to sell this one. Yeah, very, very powerful shots. Like I say, it's part of why it's so valuable and sought after by collectors, because usually you take a shot with this and whatever's being shot at disintegrates in a cloud of ash. So it's definitely a very powerful blaster, and yet small enough that it's easy to carry. And of course, being of extraterrestrial origin, that always increases the value, and being so rare as a captain's blaster definitely puts it in the top tier value. So you said you found this, so you don't have any investment in it, which also is going to be great for your finances should you try to sell it. Given how rare these are, a few years ago, there were around 10,000 caps in value, but, that was 10 to 15 years ago. If you were to try to sell one of these now, I think that you wouldn't have any problem getting 70 to 80,000 caps for this. It's a very valuable, very rare, and unique piece, so that's definitely a great one, and if you hang on to it for a while, the value of this is only going to go up. So, yeah, your little jaunt through the desert was definitely a profitable one when you came upon this one. So, yeah, thank you for bringing that piece in. We obviously don't see very many of those, and it's fun to actually handle one. So, yeah, thank you very much. Do you have anything else you'd like to have appraised? This old spell book? Alright, well, let me have a look at this then. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is kind of definitely an antique here. So what can you tell me about this? How did you come by this interesting little piece? You found this in an estate sale as well? Okay, well, unfortunately, this might just be a prop. It does not appear to be an actual witch's spell book. While there are some spells in here, they don't really appear to be all that legit. The leather is cracking along the spine here, and that's usually a good indication that the book is not as old as it appears, and that someone is simply trying to make it appear older than it is, kind of trying to, dupe the seller into thinking that it might be worth a little more than it is as a authentic spell book. But unfortunately, I think this just might be a fake. Some of the spells have some strange ingredients I'm seeing, and people like to throw those in when they're creating fake spells just to kind of make the unknown buyer or collector think that they've got the real item, when in fact real spells tend to be a bit simpler in their ingredients, and yeah, a lot of this is like really complex, and so it looks like whoever created this was kind of overcompensating to try and make it look like it was real. Again, most old spell books from the era that this one is clearly trying to imitate hold up quite a bit better than this. So the fact that it's not holding up may have led you to believe that it was a very old spell book. Yeah, you saw the crumbling and thought you had the real thing. Yeah, unfortunately, as I say, that is a common scamming technique in the old and rare spell books markets, and yeah, unfortunately, this is not going to be worth very much. How much did you pay for this? Oh, okay, yeah. This might be a little hard to hear, but unfortunately, you lost quite a bit because this is only worth $20 to $50, just to a collector who enjoys collecting these things for the fun of it. Yeah, it's not really going to sell to anyone who's interested in authentic spellbooks, unfortunately. So you did lose a little bit of money on this, but obviously the first 3 items you brought in, you can profit on those, and certainly the Goddess of Death helmet and the Alien Blaster you could definitely make some very large profits on. So, but this is unfortunately a little more than a toy, but it might look nice displayed on your mantle at Halloween, and just use it as a conversation piece. But other than that, it doesn't really have any real value. So yeah, we'll just set that one aside. Do you have anything else that you'd like to have appraised today? One more item? Okay, and what have you got then? Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, so you have a set of blades here. It's a very nice set of blades. What can you tell me about these? How did you come by this interesting set of blades? You enjoy scuba diving, and you found these at the bottom of the ocean where you were diving? Okay, well that's very interesting. You sound like you collect your antiques in a variety of ways, which is fun. It's always great to be adventurous. Was there any kind of a ship or a wreck anywhere near where you found these? No? And how close to shore were you when you found these? Still within sight of shore? Okay, well, there's a couple of possibilities. Could have been that a ship went down and, broke apart as it was going down. And these might have fallen out so the rest of the ship got swept away by the current. Or it could be that someone just lost these overboard as they were coming into shore or something like that. There's a few different possibilities. They are a pair, obviously, so whatever happened, it happened to them at the same time. And these, judging by the style and the aging on them, I would say that these are probably from the Dragon Age, and they probably belong to a pirate, possibly a female pirate, judging by the weight and the size and the style. They have a little bit of elegance about them, and, even as a pirate, what girl doesn't want a little bling, right? So these would be beautiful as well as functional. They are definitely of pirate origin, so you do have a set of pirate blades here. And like I say, I think they're probably from the Dragon Age of piracy. A little bit of wear on them. That could be from the pirate who used them, or it could just be from sitting on the bottom of the ocean for a few hundred years. So, in any event, there's going to be wear on them. These are not the most rare thing in the world, obviously. Pirate blades do tend to get found, but the style is rather unique. You don't see a lot of blades with this shape and this level of detail, so that definitely increases their value. And yeah, I would say that you could probably, if you tried to sell these in today's market, as long as you made sure everyone knew that they were pirate blades from the Dragon Age, because the Dragon Age is the most sought after era for pirate blades. Make sure that everyone knows that. And then I could definitely see you getting $3,000 to $5,000 for these. Yeah, and if you buff them up, maybe even 6,000, you know, if you do a little restoration on them, though obviously the restoration will cost a little bit of money and might bite into that profit, so you might be better off just selling them as is and letting whoever buys them do the restoration themselves, because whoever buys them is probably not looking to get them for resale. They're just interested in you know, displaying them and collecting them, so they'd be happy to put the love into them that would be needed to restore them. So, but yeah, considering again you found these for free, you're going to make a nice tidy little profit on them. So yeah, they're very cute. I'm so glad that you brought them in. It's always nice to see blades from the Dragon Age. I'll just carefully hand these back to you. They are still nice and sharp, so that's pretty great as well. And is that all the items that you'd like to have appraised today? Okay, well, thank you so much for bringing these in. Always fun to see some rare antiques. I'm sorry about the spell book not being worth anything, but at least you know that the other antiques you brought in are actually, you know, quite valuable, or fairly valuable in the case of some. But yeah, you can take those home and display them with pride. And if you should ever find yourself in need of some financial help, you could just sell one of them off and make a nice tidy little profit on them. So thank you for coming in today, and if you have anything else in the future, we'd be happy to appraise it for you. Feel free to go through the rest of our shop and, you know, just enjoy looking around. None of the pieces in here today are for sale, just for looking, but if you're any kind of a history buff, which I'm guessing you are, judging by your taste in antiques, it is fun just to go through and look around. So yeah, please go through and help yourself to a little eye browsing, and then feel free to return again if you ever have any antiques in the future. So, thank you for coming in today.